Hey everybody, what's up? Tim here with this week's SCE. I hope you are doing phenomenal today and killing it. Thank you so much for watching. Title for today's shoot is The Best Way to Kill Off Fear. So for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about fear and how disaster it is, and that fear is enemy number one. And it typically is the number one derailer that keeps people from going where they want to go, being who they want to be, and doing what they want to do. And really, fear is the product of the voices and the images that we let go on in our minds repeatedly. We let them go on and on and on, and we practice them and we rehearse them and we reinforce them until we actually start to believe that they're true. And then we act on them and we talk about them, and they produce the results that we don't want, because fear is belief going in a negative direction. Fear is belief in an expectation that we don't want to happen, whereas faith or belief is an expectation in what we do want to happen. And both of those forces are equally as strong. They're actually the same force, just one is positive and one is negative. And we talked about the fear of failure, and we asked, why are people afraid? Because failure is ultimately just part of the learning process. And as long as you don't quit, you've never really failed. And it's the way we learn anything. So we should be glad when we fail. And we also talked about the fear of success, and that by letting other people's opinions and society pressure, we feel that if we don't succeed as soon as we should, or we can't sustain it, that we are failures. And none of those things are true. In both of those cases, it's because we've let faulty thinking and faulty images take root inside of our mind. So how do we kill off fear? Well, the number one way to kill off fear is through action. When you take action, fear absolutely disintegrates. Think about the first time you got on ice skates or a bicycle, how tough it was, and how much more intimidation there was leading up to that process. Or if you're afraid of roller coasters or heights, going into that oftentimes is a lot more dramatic and a lot more traumatic than the actual event itself, because we got our thoughts raging, we got our emotions raging. But once you get on that roller coaster, once you get on that bike, that fear tends to dissipate. So action is the best way to crush fear. And anytime you're afraid of something, the best thing you can do as far as taking action is concerned is you go and do it. Now, you might not need to go after the entire object. I would say you chunk it down, you break it down into little pieces. Just take one step that leads you toward the thing that you're afraid of. Take one step toward acting on the thing that you're afraid of. Take one step toward doing the thing that you're afraid of. It doesn't need to be big, it just needs to take one step. And the next day, take another step and another step. And by taking action, you're going to see fear disappear, because fear oftentimes is just an illusion, a story we created in our mind. And once we take action, we realize it's not that big a deal. And even if it is a big deal, we start to gain momentum and we start to take it apart. And by doing that, our confidence grows, because we realize we can actually conquer this and we can bust through it. Fear is such an issue and plagues so many people that over the next several weeks, I'm going to give you some practical tools as to how to dismantle fear, how to increase your mental toughness, how to increase your emotional resiliency, and how to do some very, very simple things that, when they're practiced, crushes fear, crushes doubt, crushes worry, crushes anxiety. So the first one today we're going to talk about, it's taking action. Do the thing that you're afraid of. Take one little step toward the thing that you're afraid of. Take one little act. And if you do that today, take another step tomorrow. And if you're so bold, take a step every hour or a step every minute. But by taking those steps, you'll build that momentum. The illusion of fear is going to dissipate, and you'll find the thing you're afraid of vanishes. And even if it doesn't vanish, you're going to realize that you are more than you imagine, and you're able to navigate through it. So stick with us for the next couple of weeks, because there is a bunch of these. They are practiced by the world's best, the world's special forces, the world's top level athletes, the people who succeed in the world at all kinds of levels. These are powerful, powerful tools. They're simple. Anybody can use them. Kids, adolescents, adults, it doesn't matter. So stay with us as we walk this journey to crush fear by learning about some really practical tools that will help us do that. So this is Tim with today's SCE. What kills fear? Action. Stick with us, and you'll learn a ton of actions that you can take to free yourself from the bondage that fear has kept you in. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.